Hi, I'm Carrie, and I have read Karen Quinn's book, Testing for Kindergarten, and without a doubt, it's a must-read for anyone with young children. So when I read the book about a year ago, I had the opportunity to have an early edition. Sophie was just turning 5 and entering kindergarten. Christopher was 3. Just turning 3 and entering a pre-K 3 program.
Christopher wasn't speaking until probably 2.5 years old. So I had a big wake-up call, and when I was looking at the assessment page that Karen had outlined, he wasn't there in a lot of areas. Over the last year, I have taken him from a point of not speaking to not being able to shut his mouth sometimes, but he asked questions all the time. And with Christopher, it was a real get back to the basics, and Karen outlines all of the 7 abilities and things that you should be working on. Again, I emphasize the active reading. It is so critical for your child. For Christopher, it finally got him asking a lot of questions. You know, why, and we're talking about a turtle in a book, you know, where does the turtle come from? How do they lay their eggs? Where do they live? What are the other animals in the picture? What are they doing? It really got his vocabulary from nowhere to somewhere I was very impressed with. We do a lot of that. We also did a lot of puzzles with Christopher, working with the letters and trying to get him to put together puzzles and start using his motor skills to put things together. You know, we did cooking, we did measurements, we worked with blocks, we did, you know, shapes, colors, we interacted and did all of that stuff in our everyday life, which brought Christopher to a much more advanced level. The fun things that we did was just play grocery store, where I'd get some products out of the kitchen and I'd put names to them, and Christopher would come over to me and I'd tell him I'd like a box of cereal, and he'd give that to me, and I'd tell him it's $2, and he'd learn to count out the money, and we had a lot of fun doing that. It was a great exercise. Also doing a lot of the board games where he got his colors and shapes, and I'd tell him, can you pick out the triangle for me? Or can you pick out the yellow circle for me? And he just loved hanging out with Mom and doing these types of things. Again, you know, it's finding what your kid enjoys. You know, he loved Disney's The Cars show, so anything I could find on the Cars, I would get, and he would just love it. One thing that I found very interesting, and Karen talks about it too, is the association with music. So Christopher's too young for me to sign him up for music class, but we did do the singing music together. But we also, I realized he really, he related very closely to the videos that I would buy. So one of the things Karen recommends is the Leapfrog video. Amazing to get him. He was singing his letters, he knew his sounds, and this is at 3, which was pretty impressive from a kid who wasn't reading to now knowing his letters, knowing the sounds, which, you know, just is a foundation that we can just expand on to get him to the phonics stage, where he'll probably be in this next coming year. We worked on the books, some of the things that Karen talked about, Brain Quest. It's a fun thing. We did it at night. We would do it when we were traveling, where we'd just take out, I'd ask him some questions, he would answer them, and if he didn't know them, we'd focus on it, and we'd go back and do it. But it's amazing, you know, and Karen talks about this throughout her book, it's like, just take your kitchen, or take a grocery store. Christopher and I would go to the grocery store. I would tell him, okay, help Mommy shop, and we'd go out. I'd tell him we'd need apples, we'd need 2 apples. He would go out, find the apples, pick them, put them in the bag, put them in, so engaged in what we were doing, and you're getting some math skills in there, you're getting his vocabulary going. So it was just a completely great experience. We were getting colors involved there. So the whole grocery store and just interacting in everyday life was great. Again, your kitchen is a great place. All the things that you can do in your kitchen, between cooking, measuring, you know, counting, just a lot of things on the table, where he'd help to set up the table. So I engaged him, we got very involved. It was a lot of fun doing that. The other things that the kids love is the silly games that you do, that your mom and you did years ago, that you forgot about, like Simon Says, and get him to touch his head, or, you know, touch your knees and learn all your body parts. And that song that Karen mentions, you know, knees, shoulders, what is it? Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Just another great, you know, again, using singing and getting them engaged. It really helped Christopher to learn those things. So again, it was just the active participation, active reading. Again, we brought him from nowhere to not shutting up on a and it was, I'm very, very pleased by that. The teacher was absolutely amazed that he came as far as he did. And so now he's entering pre-K 4 next year, and he is already starting to, he writes his name, which was amazing because his fine motor skills are not strong. So Karen talks about getting them to learn how to grip their pencil properly. So we've been working with chalk, we've been working on the chalkboards, we've been working on coloring, which Sophie was a pro at when she was at this level, but you know, Christopher is not, so we have to really work on that to get him to write better. So we're working on a lot of the skills that she talks about to get him next year to be able to write and be able to move to the next level of phonics. So this book is not just for somebody who's testing to get your kid into private school. It's very relevant for that, but it's so much more. You really have to understand what it is that your kids should be able to do at this point and really take responsibility for getting them up to speed.